Brother Asad, let me know when we're live.
You're live already.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to our road trip to Allah Ramadan special series with Leeds Grand Mosque, Leeds Council of Mosque, and with Grand Muslim Youth Council. This week's session is very special. It is a session based on mental health. How, as Muslim youth, especially having just came out of a second lockdown, a national lockdown, how we can deal with our stress, depression as Muslims, and especially last week, we looked at connecting ourselves to the Quran, and we met with Brother Jake, who actually reverted to Islam on our live stream. So if you haven't watched that, please go back and watch that. So Brother Jake mentioned to us how important it is to how it made him realize that Islam got him peace, inner peace. Because of COVID, he was really depressed, and it made him realize that losing lives, life needs to have a purpose. So mental health is a major issue in the United Kingdom. It is the second biggest illness in the United Kingdom, costing over 105 billion pounds each year. And the worst part is over 75% of the mental illnesses that are diagnosed before the age of 18. So it is very clear that it's an issue that affects the young people most. So it's really important to see how we can tackle this issue. And especially as Muslims, we have a beauty gifted to us, and that's the Quran, the word of Allah, that gives us Islam values a good mental health, a stable mental health. So how can we channel that and have a stable mental health and succeed in this world and the hereafter? So we have an amazing layout of guests who've joined us today. We have with us Brother Mikhaeel Mala, who will be reciting Nasheeds and reciting the Quran for us. And then we have Brother Thariq Maulana from Leicester University, who will be joining us and enlightening us in how we as young people can manage our time to have a stable mental state. And then we have a member of Grand Muslim Youth Council, Maram, who will share her culture with us. So please stay tuned. And Muzdalfa as our weekly chair of Grand Muslim Youth Council, who will tell us the practical implications of Quran and how we can utilize the Quran in our daily routine, especially in the last 10 days of Ramadan, which are approaching very soon now. So I would like to not waste any time and go to our first guest speaker, Brother Mikhaeel Mala. Are you live with us?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you, Brother Mikhaeel?
Very good, alhamdulillah. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm great. So those of you who don't know Brother Mikhaeel Mala, he's alhamdulillah, Allah has gifted him with a beautiful voice. I've heard many of his nasheeds, and if you haven't, please go check out the YouTube. Search Brother Mikhaeel Mala. He's done beautiful nasheeds, recitation of Quran. Brother Mikhaeel, tell us more about yourself and what kind of work you do.
So alhamdulillah, I'm a nasheed singer and a Quran reciter, as well as working for a charity. So we work abroad in Lebanon. I literally just came back from Lebanon now on the Syrian border, so I do charity work as well. So I work for them as a fundraising officer. And as well as that, I'm also a teacher in a school, in a secondary school. Alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah, you're keeping busy. I know that last week I contacted and you were in Lebanon indeed. So how was Lebanon? How's the situation in Lebanon?
The situation is the same as 10 years ago, since the Syrian revolution started. Since refugees left Lebanon and reached, since the refugees left Syria and reached Lebanon, the situation has been the same for them. They're still in the same tents. They're still in the same areas. Nothing's really improved for them, and they're not really getting as much aid as before. I mean, in the beginning, in the first 4, 5, 6 years even, there was a lot of aid, there was a lot of media attention. Now there's not really much media attention, so there's less donations, there's less aid going towards them. So they're struggling at the moment.
Definitely. And I think it's really important. Last week we focused on how Ramadan is the month of giving to charity and thinking about other people other than ourselves. Of course, focus on our inner self and self-discipline, but in terms of economical help, to help our neighbors, and especially our Muslims in other countries. And I think for that, Leeds Grand Mosque has a really good initiative for Laylatul Qadr. If you want to set up a standing order with Leeds Grand Mosque, you can visit their website online. And what that does is, we will play a video at the end to show you more about the initiative. Leeds Grand Mosque can take a given amount that you've chosen every night of the last 10 days, and those will go out to help the causes, amazing causes like in Lebanon as well. And it doesn't have to be just with Leeds Grand Mosque. Any charity, utilize this month to help your Muslim brothers and sisters across the world. So Brother Mikhaeel Mala, we will talk to you more. But I'll hand it over to you to recite a few verses from the Quran for us.
Inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الذين يذكرون الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم ويتفكرون في خلق السماوات والأرض ربنا ما خلقت هذا باطلا ربنا ما خلقت هذا باطلا سبحانك فقنا عذاب النار ربنا إنك من تدخل النار فقد أخزيته وما للظالمين من أنصار ربنا إننا سمعنا مناديا ينادي للإيمان أن آمنوا بربكم فآمنا ربنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار صدق الله العظيم.
MashaAllah, subhanAllah. Thank you so much, Brother Mikhaeel Mala. What a beautiful recitation. And going to our topic as well, that we're talking about mental health, especially in the Muslim community and with the young people. And it's Quran, we know, is a guide to overcoming those mental illnesses. And even like the beauty of the Quran itself, how even if you don't understand the Quran, just listening to it can touch so many different hearts. So many people share from your experience. Has anybody ever, like the people you recite when they recite the Quran, what is the feeling that people have? Especially if you've had a chance to recite in front of non-Muslims.
Yeah, so even non-Muslims, when I recite, when I've been to events and they've been present, and I recited the Quran, they always come out, like they always tell me that they felt something inside them, they felt something move inside them, they felt emotional, they felt certain emotions and certain things. So that's what the Quran does. So even if you don't understand it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He allows anybody, and He gives it to anybody's heart, whoever He wills. He gives inspiration, gives ilham to anybody's heart with His word, with His kitab.
Yeah, definitely. I think Quran is a living miracle. We always ask that, non-Muslims always ask, what is the miracle? We need a miracle to believe in Allah. And I think what better miracle than the Quran? Even Allah challenges that if you don't believe in the Quran, then why don't you create a verse like it? So I think that shows how beautiful the Quran is. Even if you don't understand the meaning, it still touches those hearts. So Brother Mikhaeel, I'm going to give you a bit of rest till we go to our next guest. So we'll obviously hear a few nasheeds from you, but I'm going to move on to our next guest. You can have some rest. Obviously not drink water because it's Ramadan. I was about to say drink water and have rest. Of course not water, but just have a little break and we'll move on to our next guest. So Brother Maulana Thariq, are you joined with us?
Assalamu alaikum, Akram. Hello.
Wa alaikum assalam. I was about to say we're joined by a big sheikh, because your name's Maulana. Maulana, if people don't know, in Asia, is known as an Islamic scholar. So are you an Islamic scholar, or do you aspire to be an Islamic scholar in the future?
I mean, hopefully. I mean, I teach and help other people.
Inshallah.
So yeah, inshallah, maybe one day. Yeah.
Inshallah, definitely. So people who don't know Thariq, you can introduce yourself, what you do, what kind of roles you've had in the past. So please enlighten us.
Yeah, hello, my name's Thariq. I'm hoping to graduate next year with a bachelor's degree in physics from the University of Leicester. I was involved with the Islamic Society for nearly 2 years, where I ran for the president for around 7 months. I've also given talks in my spare time about how to study. I've ran my own business in maths and physics, and hopefully in the next couple of years, I hope to enter into management consultancy. So that's my background.
Inshallah, that sounds exciting. And I've had a lot of experience with working with Brother Tariq, and he was a really active president of the University of Leicester Islamic Society. So he led a lot of talks on managing mental health. So that's why I've invited him today to talk to us how young people, I know that we've discussed as well that in a hadith as well, it mentions that Allah only creates diseases with a treatment. So mental health is a really horrible disease, but Allah has created and given us a treatment. So how can young people manage, especially in Ramadan? The Ramadan is always, in the past few years, have came in the time of exams, and young people are right now in universities, high schools, who are doing their GCSEs or A levels, might be struggling with mental health. And we know mental health can lead to depression, anxiety problems, especially in the lockdown, self-harming, and all sorts of other illnesses. So how can young people stay on top of their education and have a stable mental health state?
For me personally, I think it's a matter of perspective, because I remember last year personally for me, last Ramadan, I was dealing with my degree, exams, and fasting, and also running a society at the same time. And my perspective at the time was I was just so overwhelmed, and I felt as if fasting was an obstacle because I can't eat or drink. But I think this Ramadan, I've taken a different approach, and I've changed my perspective, because you can pray and you can still suffer with anxiety or panic attacks, or still suffer with your mental health. But it's just about trying to see prayer as not like something that you have to do, but like something that just allows you to relieve or release any stress, and just allows you to feel calm inside. So I think definitely not just doing prayer, but like doing it with the purest of intentions, and really concentrating on trying to get as close to Allah as possible. Of course, read the Quran, as you mentioned, read the Quran, even if you don't understand it, listen to Quranic recitations or Nasheed by Mikhaeel or other artists. But I would say it's really like to do with your intentions, I think, and also just changing how you are seeing certain obstacles, such as fasting, with exams and other things that you may have.
Yeah, of course, I absolutely agree with you. I think being born in a Muslim family and practicing Islam from a very young age, we kind of forget meaning of things that we do regularly. It kind of becomes like a duty that you do. And I think it's like, for example, when you go out and when you first initially start to drive, you're paying attention on the road, you're paying attention to everything. But once you've had 5 years or 6 years of experience, you don't think about it. It's just a second nature. And I think that's what happens with Salah and fasting, if you lose the meaning behind these things. But I think, like you mentioned, it's a really great point to utilize these things like Salah, that Allah has made it as a medication, and to do it with a meaning that you can feel inner peace through that. Tariq, have you ever had a challenging situation that you've had to deal with? How did you overcome that? Apart from obviously revising the Quran, like in terms of timetabling, how can you manage your time?
I mean, I've dealt with a lot of like challenging situations. Like during second year, like this is going to be quite discreet, but I did struggle a lot with like anxiety and like panic attacks, and like I had like so many things and roles and responsibilities that I was taking on during that time, and I felt alone. Like I felt isolated in my own world. Like no one really understood where I was coming from or what I was enduring. But I had the insight to like, okay, let me reach out to people. Let me talk to therapists or counselors, or let's just open up my thoughts. Don't bottle it up inside, and just deal with it, because that can be really damaging. And it's nice to have the support of people. Like you don't want to deal and suffer all alone by yourself in your room. Like that's the worst way to deal with any problem. Like forget mental health, like any problem, but especially with mental health, because you have so many things like festering in your mind. Just definitely reaching out to anyone. It doesn't matter who it is, a friend, family, counsel, therapist, whatever other service that there is around your local uni or in your city. But that's how I dealt with it, just like reaching out to people and just every time that I felt like my mind was clogged, just vomiting, not vomiting, but just letting it out to someone in like a clear, concise manner. And that helped me to just like overcome any like worries or like severe stress that I was dealing with on a daily basis.
Well, I'm glad you overcame those stresses and anxiety issues. And I think it's really important. I've heard your talks in the past, and I myself have been involved in national campaigns with mental health. And I think it's when it comes to minority groups, BAME groups, it's often misunderstood. Mental health is highly misunderstood, and something that's not given a lot of attention because we don't see it. And I think it's really important, like you mentioned, there are Islamic psychologists out there as well. You should go out and speak to someone, whether that's your family members, whether that's your friend, or a professional help offered by a school council, or someone you can feel comfortable with. So it's always really important to, if you have if you're facing any challenging issues, go speak to somebody. So it's really important. So moving on from that, there's a different type of anxiety and stress Muslims face on a daily basis. And having attended primary school and high school in the UK, I know that being a Muslim could be challenging for some people who might not know a lot about Islam. And young people in that case find it very challenging to express their religion to other people. What advice would you give to those young people about their self-identity, not to lose their identity? And how can they keep their self-identity and be proud of being a Muslim?
Yeah, I went through a similar thing doing uni, because I remember just like I was different to like a lot of my peers during uni, and so I felt isolated, and so I felt like I had to involve myself in certain environments or engage in certain activities in order to feel welcome. But I didn't really feel that, and so I sort of removed myself or just stayed away from any harmful things or harmful places. And so I think one thing that I've personally done, or the things that I've personally done to preserve my Muslim identity, is, of course, join your local Islamic society and go to the prayer room and just make friends and just like socialize, or go to the mosque and not necessarily make friends, just like being in the mosque can just help you feel a sense of like comfort and like inclusiveness, that like there are other people out there who share the same spirituality and faith as you, and that you're not alone. Because that's actually a common thing that I see during, at least at my uni, that a lot of people, they compromise on their faith and their identity, and they stray away from religion, unfortunately, because they suffer with FOMO and loneliness. So they don't know which groups that they should identify with. So they go to the wrong places and associate themselves with the wrong environments. And I've personally met people like this, and I can understand where they're coming from, but it's just about like having like the insight to realize, okay, who am I? What do I believe in? I'm a Muslim. I believe in God. Okay, let's associate myself with those people who share the same faith as me, and go from there.
Yes, of course, I definitely agree with you. And I'm going to echo what you said and what Brother Jake, who joined us last week, who reverted to Islam, said. And I think it's really vital to learn a lesson from Brother Jake, that everybody has to, like you say, you have to identify who you are first as a Muslim, because we take that for granted, being born in a Muslim family. We think it's a race. It's not a race. And like Brother Jake found his way to Islam, every Muslim needs to find their journey to Islam and find their way to Islam. And once you know your way, you've chosen your way to follow that faith, you can defend that faith, you can be proud of that faith. And I think, unfortunately, it is an issue, a major issue that needs to be tackled. And I'm really proud of being part of Grand Muslim Youth Council, founding Grand Muslim Youth Council, and working with Leeds Grand Mosque, Leeds Council of Mosque, organizations that give young people the platform to motivate other young people, to engage other young people, so they feel proud of their faith and they can learn more about the faith from people who are similar age to themselves. So thank you so much, Brother Thariq. We will come back to you as well, so just stay with us. I'm going to move back to Brother Mikhaeel Mala.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. I hope you've had a bit of rest. I'm going to move on, and I'm going to hand it over to you. I think you've done plenty of beautiful nasheeds, and I think you've released a few nasheeds recently as well. So I would like you to recite a recent nasheed and also your most famous nasheed, Qamarun. So that will be amazing as well. So I'll hand over to you.
طالما أشكو غرامي يا نور الوجود طالما أشكو غرامي يا نور الوجود وأنادي يا تهامي يا معدن الجود وأنادي يا تهامي يا معدن الجود منيتي أقصى مرامي أحظى بالشهود منيتي أقصى مرامي أحظى بالشهود وأرى باب السلام يا زاكي الجدود وأرى باب السلام يا زاكي الجدود طالما أشكو غرامي يا نور الوجود طالما أشكو غرامي يا نور الوجود وأنادي يا تهامي يا معدن الجود وأنادي يا تهامي يا معدن الجود قمرون قمرون قمر سيدنا النبي قمرون وجميل 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 سيدنا النبي وجميل وكف المصطفى كالورد ينادي الله الله وعطرها يبقى إذا مست أيادي الله الله وكف المصطفى كالورد ينادي الله الله وعطرها يبقى إذا مست أيادي الله الله وعم نوالها كل العباد وعم نوالها كل العباد وعم نوالها كل العباد حبيب الله يا خير البراء يا قمرون قمرون قمر سيدنا النبي قمرون وجميل 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 سيدنا النبي وجميل.
Thank you so much, Brother Mikhaeel. It's amazing. It's always nice to hear your voice, to hear your nasheed. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation.
So there's some young people who are interested in obviously nasheeds, and as a person yourself, as a Muslim, when you were young, how did you know that you had passion for nasheeds? And what advice would you give to young people who are interested and passionate about nasheeds?
Since I was young, I always used to sing along to. So I used to hear many nasheeds and many different artists, different singers when I was younger. So I used to imitate them. So Yusuf Islam, for example, I used to really listen to him and imitate him. So from there imitating and then realizing that I had a voice, performing locally in the schools, in my school, then other schools, your own community, and then going on to masajid or competitions even, and then traveling the world with nasheeds, alhamdulillah. So it starts off from home, from your grassroots effort. So it starts off from home, and then from there you expand bigger and bigger with nasheeds. So my advice for anybody who wants to get into nasheeds or who wants to start singing and reciting nasheeds, the main thing is to have a pure intention and have the intention to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and to follow the sunnah of the Sahaba through reciting the nasheeds as well. And then inshallah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will open doors for you. If you have a good intention, Allah will always open up many doors for you. So start off with a good intention, then you know your own community, and sing in your own community and sing in your own localities, and from there on, inshallah, the world is your oyster.
Thank you so much for joining us, for Mikhaeel. I will let you go, but that's with everything. Thank you for the nice humble words as well. I think that's an important thing. Having a pure intention is not just for nasheeds; it's for every part of life that you are in. Every career that you go in, is you need to have a pure intention, and Allah will reward you based on your intention. So having that pure intention will lead to pure actions as well. So thank you so much, Brother Mikhaeel. Jazakallah, thank you. So now I'm going to move on to Sister Muzdalifa. Muzdalifa is the chairman of the Grand Muslim Youth Council. She's studying at the University of Central Lancashire. She's studying psychology. So Muzdalifa will help us understand how we can practically practice Quran and bring Quran in our life, and how can that instill peace in us. Muzdalifa, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for having me, Akram.
Always a pleasure.
Okay, so today, as we are approaching the last 10 days of Ramadan, so I thought there's not going to be a better topic than speaking of the gift Allah has given us. A gift that is given to our ummah, the gift that we were given directly by Allah that no other ummah before us were given. So this is a gift that is very powerful, a blessing, and that lands in the last 10 days of Ramadan. As you guys probably guessed by now, this is Laylatul Qadr. So Laylatul Qadr, a night that is so powerful, night that decides our destiny, a night that is so full of blessing that angels descend, all the angels descend from the heavens down to the earth. And as the narration said, there's so many angels that they're even more than the pebbles on this earth. So you can imagine the stones, the sand, there's more angels that descend from the heaven than the sand and stone itself on this earth. So this is really blessed night. As you can see, with angels comes the blessing, the peace. And there is no better way to approach this night than finding out what Allah says about it, the night itself in the Quran. So previously we have looked at surah that is dedicated to this blessed night, surah that talks about blessing of this night. And today I'm going to take it further and talk about a chapter that many of us overlook and forget about, and that is equally important and equally acknowledge us about this beautiful night. And this is the passage, starting passage of Surah Ad-Dukhan. So the first 6 verses beautifully tells us about Laylatul Qadr. So Allah starts by an oath by the book that is clear. Indeed, we have revealed the Quran in a blessed holy night, and we in fact are the ones that are sending the warning. So before I move on to talk about the next verse and actually talk about what this night is all about, it's really important to acknowledge the fact that even though we are saying the Quran is descending down in this month, but many of us youngsters confuse it with how is it the fact that Quran was revealed in 23 years and we say that Quran was sent down in this night. So it's really important to acknowledge the fact that this is talking about Quran descending from 7th heaven to the 1st heaven. So that happened as one go. So Quran came down from the 7th heaven to the 1st heaven in this blessed night. And as we all know, from the 7th heaven to Prophet, peace be upon him, it took 20 years of time. So as we know from many narration, this lands on the odd night of the last 10 days of Ramadan. So before I move on to the next verse, it is really important to acknowledge the three blessings of Ramadan. We know the first blessing that we get to fast. So fasting is the best first blessing of Ramadan. The second blessing of Ramadan is Qiyamul Layl. And the third blessing that we're approaching very soon is Laylatul Qadr. So the first 20 days of Ramadan, we are basically getting ourselves spiritually ready. We're getting spiritually hyped up, you can say. We're getting ourselves ready to use all our energy in the last 10 days of Ramadan. Because again, the wisdom of this night is that we don't know when exactly it lands. And this is the best time you can show to Allah how devout we are, how hard working, and how much we're striving, how much we're craving to gain this night. Because the wisdom of it is we don't know when it's land. And if we strive for it, this shows Allah how much we want it, how much we're craving for it. And what is this night all about? The next verse tells us that every wise matter is decided, and this is our command. Allah is saying, every wise matter is decided in this night, and this is Allah's command. So what do we mean by that? Allah in this night is announcing to the highest group of angels what is going to happen to basically anybody. All the wise decisions are getting announced to the highest group of angels in this night. So for the upcoming year. So all the things that are going to happen in the upcoming years are getting announced today, that night, Laylatul Qadr night. So Allah is giving out the responsibility, is giving out the task to angels. So this is whether we're going to be living, or we're going to be alive till next Ramadan, whether what's going to happen to our wealth. Is it going to increase? Is it going to decrease? Are we going, who's going to die? Who's going to live? Who's going to face the calamity, and who's going to be safe from calamity? All is getting decided in this blessed night. So even though when we hear this, it's kind of like scares us at the same time, because we don't know what's going to happen, and only Allah is aware of what's going to happen to the person and what kind of decision is going to be made on us. So, but there is one tool, one weapon that Allah has given us that we can use that can actually change this qadr, so that can actually change this what's going to happen in the upcoming year. So this is basically our opportunity to set ourselves a good year. So we can pray. So this is the dua. The dua is the weapon that we have, that we can pray, and that can change even this. Allah is even going to alter our qadr if we pray for it. So this is a time we want to land on this night praying, worshiping, doing the good deeds, and meeting Allah in the best state possible. And God forbid we be sleeping in this night, and when this night comes and we ignore the benefits of it, and we ignore the big tool that's given to us. So, and we are aware that this night is so powerful. The reward of praying in this night is as if you were praying 1,000 months constantly. And you can see 1,000 months is actually more than 83 years. 83 years. Most of us are not even going to reach to 83 years. And even if people reach 83 years of age, we don't spend all that year worshiping. Half of the time is sleeping. Half of their lifespan is spent sleeping. Other we are worrying about the daily routine, life, job, and so many other things that we're involved with, that on average, even a wise person, you can say, like on average, person doesn't even spend an hour worshiping every day. So that we spend like less than 5% of our lifespan worshiping. So this is basically a life hack that I'm giving you right there, that we have in our hands a night that we can catch. Few hours we can spend worshiping, and we can gain a reward of 1,000 months. What more can we ask for? This is so special. Why? Because Laylatul Qadr was happening since the first day. It's happening. But we as a ummah are given this gift. We are given this gift that we can use this night and catch it and gain the reward of it. Because we know the ummahs that came before us, they lived hundreds of years. They lived 900 years. We heard the narration how people used to live really, really long time. But some of us would get worried, like, how can we compare our deeds with them, because they be worshipping so much. But Allah, with His wisdom, is giving us this beautiful night, this night so powerful that we can gain reward, a pure reward of worshipping 1,000 months, over 83 years of lifespan. So one would ask, what can we do? What can we do in this blessed night that we can again reward? What would we want to spend this night in a wise way. So what can we do? Well, one of the best way of worshipping is standing in front of Allah, speaking to Him. So this is prayer itself. So best way to catch it is actually praying, worshipping Allah, taking part in nafil salah. So after your tarawih, maybe do your nafil salah, spend this night praying the nafils, and also increase the other amount of good deeds that you do, whether that is giving charity. You give like £50 on every other day of Ramadan, triple it, double it, do as much as you can, spend more in the path of Allah. If you, for example, set yourself a target, increase it in this beautiful light, pray more. If you were praying one chapter of the Quran in the rest of the days, double it, do as much as you can, stay up the night, because the last thing we want to do is spend this night sleeping. So you can see it. If we were told that we can earn £1,000 or 1,000 million pounds in just one night, we would do anything to stay up, no matter how long the night is. And we're lucky that we don't even have that many hours. Our nights are quite short in the United Kingdom, so you can spend it worshipping very, very easily. And do not forget to utilize the biggest tool given to us, which is dua. So use the weapon and pray, whether that is praying for your children, praying for yourself, praying for the best qadr to come. And I want to leave with a dua, actually, that is so powerful that Prophet himself told Aisha Radhiyallahu anha to recite. And the dua tells us to, that dua is basically telling us to forgive, asking Allah to forgive us. And inshallah, Arkham will be sharing with you later on in this live stream. So I will hand it over to Arkham. So if he has anything to ask me, or maybe about the topic that we have today. So Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you so much for that reminder. And I think it's really important. I want to emphasize on the whole thing that I've gained from that talk is a life hack that you've given us. So young people are watching us. We love watching life hack videos, hours upon hours on TikTok, on Instagram, how to make our life easy. So you've told us of a major life hack, and we get that life hack only once a year. And like we mentioned, Ramadan in the whole year is a month where we train ourselves. And even within Ramadan, we've got 20 days to just get ready for the last 10 days. And even though in those last 10 days, we're only kind of looking for one night, that is the golden night. Obviously, throughout the Ramadan, give to charity. Throughout the Ramadan, do good deeds. Don't just leave it to the last, to that Laylatul Qadr, the golden night. So thank you so much for sharing that, Muzdalfa. And how do you think, because relating this to our topic about mental health and having that hope that Allah's given us, because believe it or not, people, you see celebrities who have everything in life that we desire for. They have money, they have houses, they have luxury cars, collections of cars, they have the best clothes, but they don't find that inner peace and they don't find that meaning of their life. So having that hope that Allah's given us, how does that affect mental health? The hope of Laylatul Qadr.
Overall, because you mentioned the fact that we are basically searching for the inner peace, and Quran itself call itself lizikr, the remembrance of who Allah. So there is no better way to find the inner peace than actually worshipping, praying, and in the remembrance of Allah, hearts are actually finding the peace, the inner peace that we are so craving for. And sometimes we confuse it with happiness, because so many times when you ask people what do they want in life, and they just say that we just want to be happy. And we really confuse it with satisfaction. Happiness is not a state that we want to reach. It's actually a state that is changing. It's basically a state of life that we cannot stay in forever. We will face sadness. We will face difficult times in our life where we're not going to be happy. But what we should be aiming for is satisfaction, because one person can be in calamity, can be in sadness, but still be content with himself and still be having the inner peace. And that is what we should be hoping for. So again, if you are facing challenges, if you think you're not in a good state of mental health, because on average, at least once in a year, we land in a situation when we're not mentally fit. So best thing to do is reach out. No matter how much you think is not a good idea, it actually shows that you are so strong that you are ready to speak up about it, because not everybody has the power to speak up about the emotions that they're feeling. So be the strong one, speak about it, and reach out for help. And that's the best advice I can give you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Alpha, for joining us. And I think one more thing I want to ask you while we're on topic of psychology and mental health. I know that you do 2 degrees, so you're doing clinical psychology and Islamic psychology. So how is that Islamic psychology side of things? Is that just you sitting discussing jinn stories? But how is it like the people who don't know Islamic psychology side of things?
Okay, so this is a really good point. You mentioned the fact that when we speak about mental health, many people in Islamic culture, I'm not going to say Islam because it's more the culture view, we confuse it with just the stories of jinn and jinn having control over humans and all that kind of stuff, which does have a role to play, but that's not it. So we need to understand that just because we don't see the illness doesn't mean it's not there. Just like we don't see the God doesn't mean he's not there. So this is a really important fact that we need to acknowledge, because you don't know who you will be in getting in contact with, and your views can really affect them. So you need to recognize the fact. And about my degree, the reason why I'm doing Islamic psychology and the circular psychology at the same time is because Quran itself is the wise, the noble, the one that has solution to everything, the guide to human life, because we call Islam not just a religion, a way of life. So Islam has solution to everything. Islam tells us how to live. So there's no better way to approach it, because nobody knows us better than Allah himself. So there's no way of me wasting my time and just studying circular psychology when Allah himself is speaking to us and knows us best way. So this is why I'm connecting the circular psychology with Quran and connecting it together and finding the solution for our ummah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I hope in the next few years, when you are a psychologist, we can have a session in Leeds Grand Mosque where people can come and meet
Inshallah.
you
Inshallah.
to discuss the problems as well. Thank you so much for joining us, Muzdalfa. I think it's really important that I mention that Leeds Grand Mosque is also hosting weekly lectures on psychology and mental health. So do attend those if you are interested in this topic. It is a topic that needs more attention in our community. There are a lot of people who are facing these issues. So thank you so for joining us. And now we're leading on to the last part of our show, the most fun part, where we're joined with Maram. Maram, are you there?
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum, Maram. So Maram is a member of Grand Muslim Youth Council. Maram, how do you pronounce your second name? Because I cannot even attempt to pronounce that.
La'wini.
La'wini. Okay,
Yeah.
It's not that bad when you say it, but when you see it spelled out, it's really difficult. So thank you for joining us, Maram. So what are you going to do today for us? What are you going to present for us?
Thank you for having me. Today I'm going to talk about my home country, Tunisia.
Okay. So people who don't know, sorry for cutting you off, Maram, but every session we have a young person from Grand Muslim Youth Council who shares their culture with us. And the point of that is to share the diversity of Islam and celebrate that diversity, and including from our guests as well, who are of different culture and backgrounds. So it's important that we celebrate that culture. So Maram, I'm going to hand it over to you. I will not disturb you now. So take it over, share your culture of Tunisia with us.
Okay. So, Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Hopefully, you're all doing good. May Allah accept all your fasting and your good deeds. Today, I'm going to talk about Tunisia and its culture. So, the first thing I'm going to talk about is, where is Tunisia? It's a country in North Africa. Tunisia is accessible to the Mediterranean Sea coastline, and strategic location have attached conquerors and visitors throughout the ages. Its ready access to the Sahara has brought its peoples into contact with its inhabitants of the African interior. So these are some fun facts about Tunisia. The capital is Tunis, and the language is Arabic. The people are called Tunisians. The population is 11 million. The area is, let's say, 163,000. The religion is Islam, and the currency is Tunisian dinar. Tunisia used to be called Ifriqiya, which is how they got the name Africa. As you can see, they're really close. And at the Carthaginian times of Hannibal in the 9th century BC, Tunisia has the world's first university called Zaytuna University. It was founded on 79th Hijra year, or 698 AD. And number 3, Ras Shinjla in Benzart, where I'm from, is the furthest point towards North Africa. So as you will see on the next slide, it's like the furthest point north of Africa. And Tunisia has 24 cities. Some of them are called Sousa, Benzart, Sfax, and Tunis, the capital. The Great Mosque of Qamarun has been built by a Sahabi or companion of the Prophet, Uqba ibn Nafi, in 670 AD. The 6th fact is, in Tunisia, we have 2 dishes. We both call them hirisa. One of them is really sweet and the other is so spicy. So it's a bit weird, but it's, yeah, true. So the next slide we have is traditional food. So the top one is leblebi. It's made out of chickpeas, and you can add loads of different things in, like eggs and vegetables and chicken and all that, on so many toppings. The next one is couscous. It's one of the main dishes in Tunisia, and you can add loads of things on it. You can add spicy peppers. You can add chicken and loads of different toppings, like vegetables and also some chickpeas. And hirisa on the top right there is, these are the 2 hirisas. The red one with the chili peppers is the really spicy one, and the one on the right you can have as dessert, or like you can get it like on a special event, because like it's really sweet and you don't really have it that often. So yeah, it's really nice as well. So it's Ramadan. So I did a slide about Ramadan. Tunisia is an Islamic country, of course. So that means most people fast, and they also go to mosques to the mosque to break their fast and pray Maghrib. Of course, this was before COVID, now that everyone's isolating in Tunisia. So they don't really go to the mosque. On Eid, people decorate their homes and streets with lights and lanterns. They also buy and wear their best clothes, visit each other, and go to the theme park to celebrate with their friends. Kids also go to the city and get mihba, which means money and toys from shops. So now we're going to do a little quiz.
Okay, so we're going to do a quiz. Muzdalfa, are you there as well? Muzdalfa?
Yeah.
Muzdalfa's here. Thariq, are you there? Thariq, if you're there, you can come live as well. So I've got Muzdalfa and Thariq here who are going to answer your questions. So go ahead. Let's see the
as you can see on the Where is Tunisia, you could have seen the Tunisian flag. So which one do you think it is?
You want me to type it or say it?
So Thariq, which one do you choose?
B.
B. Muzdalfa?
B.
Okay.
Definitely.
We'll go with B.
Okay, so the answer is correct, B.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, so the next one, how many cities are in Tunisia? This was in the fact file.
Muzdalfa, A, B, or C?
A.
Thariq,
A.
I'll go with B.
You were all wrong. It was C.
Oh, no.
But it's a small country, so it doesn't really have loads of cities.
That's a lot of cities, actually.
What is this food called?
Muzdalfa?
I'll go with C.
Thariq?
C.
B. I'm going to go with C as well.
The answer is yes, C.
Amazing. Next, is that it? Okay. Where is it?
Where is Tunisia? You can see on the map, and where is Tunisia, obviously.
Thariq, would you like to go first?
Yep, A.
Muzdalfa?
North Africa. Yeah.
A as well. North Africa.
You're all correct. It's A.
Perfect.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Maram, for joining us. It was amazing learning about Tunisia, and hopefully we could actually go and visit as well. I think it's really important. I actually love visiting different Muslim countries, especially to see their culture and celebrate that culture, enjoy that culture. And the best thing being everything is halal, so you can eat wherever you want. So you can try the street food and enjoy that. So thank you so much, Maram, for joining us.
You're welcome with all the family, Arkan.
Thank you. Thank you. So Brother Lasad is there. He's invited us. Now we will take your invitation. We will not take your invitation lightly. We will visit you soon. So I'm going to hand it over to Muzdalifa to go through a dua that could keep us in touch with our deen, with the Quran for the last 10 days of Laylatul Qadr. And then we'll move back to Brother Lasad, where we will share the project that Leeds Grand Mosque is doing this Ramadan, the last 10 days, to help you in terms of helping other people. Because we've learned that Ramadan is about giving to charity as well as like building and developing your self-discipline, but like training yourself for the rest of the year. So it's really important that we have that we give money to people in need across the world and even in our own city. So Muzdalfa first, are you there?
Okay, thank you, Arkham. Yeah, I'm muted. Just making sure. So this is a dua that I just wanted you to add in, because this is really important, because one of the key things that we ask in this night of Laylatul Qadr is for forgiveness. We want our previous sin to be forgiven and to enter it as a new soul that is willing to do good deeds. So this is the dua that actually Aisha Anha asked Prophet, peace be upon him, what to recite in these on the day of Laylatul Qadr, on the night of Laylatul Qadr, sorry. And Prophet, peace be upon him, told her to recite this dua. So this is a dua that means, oh Allah, you are forgiving and love forgiveness, so forgive me. So Allahumma innaka afuwan tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. So you're asking Allah, you are forgiving and love forgiveness, therefore forgive me. So this is a really important dua that you can spend recite, just, when you're sitting around, recite this dua, recite in the 10 nights, and inshallah, the night will come where your sins, all of our sins will be forgiven.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Muzaffer. Thank you. You've been giving us a lot of life hacks this session. I think this is a good life hack for students who are actually busy in studying as well. So it's a very short dua that you can keep in mind and just memorize and just recite that in between your studies and whenever you get time. So now, Brother Lasad, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
That's great. So please do share us the Laylatul Qadr project that Leeds Grand Mosque is doing. I think it's very genius what the Leeds Grand Mosque has set up. I think it's always like we always encourage people to donate to catch the Laylatul Qadr. We encourage people to donate in the last 10 days every day. And sometimes you forget to go to masjid in one of the Tarawih prayer, or you forget your money, you forget your wallet. What this project does is it ensures that you're giving money every single day. So I won't tell you much, but we'll watch the video.
Jazakumullah khair. Before the video, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Jazakumullah khair. It's a platform which we created. It's Ramadan Giving, where you can spread your donations throughout the last 10 days. As you know, Leeds Grand Mosque, as any other organization, charitable organization, they suffered a lot throughout this pandemic. And we were given you now the opportunity to spread your donations over the last 10 days of Ramadan to ensure that you don't miss giving sadaqah on Laylatul Qadr. So to make sure that you hit the pot on Laylatul Qadr.
Definitely.
So
amazing
do it
initiative.
over 10 days, inshallah. Simply click. There is the link. It will be shown. And now I'm going to share with you the video.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Did you know that donating £10 in Laylatul Qadr is equal to donating nearly £300,000? As Laylatul Qadr is better than 1,000 months, as narrated in Surah Al-Qadr verse 3. But how do you know which night is Laylatul Qadr? This is why it is recommended that we give sadaqah every night in the last 10 nights of Ramadan to ensure that we don't miss this blessed night of Laylatul Qadr. In order to be certain that you don't miss this golden opportunity, Leeds Grand Mosques have made things easy for you. All you need to do is click on the link below or visit the Leeds Grand Mosque Ramadan giving page and select the amount you would like to donate every night for the last 10 nights. We will make sure that we debit your account each night so you don't miss Laylatul Qadr, inshallah. Donate generously for your masjid. Jazakumullahu khairan.
Jazakumullah khair.
Thank you, Brother Lasad, for joining us as well and sharing that initiative. I think it's a really important initiative and really clever one to ensure that not just the masjid and the musallis, but the people, the Muslims who take part can benefit from this, because it's difficult that they can catch this night of Laylatul Qadr, without a doubt. So thank you so much. And I would like to thank all the guest speakers, Brother Thariq for joining us from Leicester, Brother Mikhaeel Mala, Sister Maram, Sister Muzdalifa. Thank you so much for joining us. Another amazing event by Grand Muslim Youth Council with Leeds Grand Mosque and Leeds Council of Mosques. Thank you so much.